School has resumed across the Suncoast, and for some students that means fears about bullying. It's an age-old problem, but this year the Florida legislature updated a law requiring school officials to better monitor what is happening and update policies when needed. ABC 7's Kate Flexter has more.
For many, it's a time of excitement, but for victims of bullying, heading back to school can be difficult.
What happens is they don't want to go to school. They get up in the morning and say, I don't feel well, I'm sick.
1 in every 4 teens is bullied, and it can have some long-term effects for victims. A study that tracked more than 2,000 people from childhood to adulthood found that teenagers who were frequent targets of bullies were 3 times more likely than their peers to be depressed as adults. And other studies have linked bullying to low academic performance. That's why school board member John Colon says it's a top concern for Manatee County.
You can't learn if you're living in an environment of fear or harassment.
With that in mind, the Florida legislature signed into law a requirement that all schools have a bullying policy and procedure in place or risk losing state funding. Both Manatee County and Sarasota County have state-approved policies in place that clearly define what bullying looks like. But still, Supervisor of Student Services Debbie Jackalone says each case is different than the last.
It is open to interpretation. I think when we are dealing with a claim or a concern that relates to bullying, it's very important for us to understand that there are 2 sides to every story.
Especially with cyberbullying, when much of it goes on at home or behind closed doors.
It gives bullies a safe place to hide, like, oh, I could be big and bad, but I'm doing it behind a screen, through a keyboard.
Instead of combating bullying on a case-by-case basis, Jackalone says the best solution is educating people about the problem and creating larger cultural changes and a safe learning environment for students.
By providing students and teachers and parents in our community with an awareness and an ability to intervene, that ultimately we are preventing acts of bullying, against our students.
Kate Flexter, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.